Well, good morning. Happy Monday to you. It's a Menopause Monday, a medical Monday, a wellness talk today, and a huge day for at least 35 women, all part of an incredible anthology. I'm going to be talking about It's About Time, an amazing book that launches this morning. And I'm so proud of each and every woman that poured their heart and soul out into this book. So we'll talk about that. If you missed my show last week with Kelly and Gordon Montgomery, we really had a very passionate, in-depth talk, not only about that, but about her Oh, Olive the Bulldog series books as well. It was a really enjoyable show last week. So this is probably one of the very first days back for many people. You had, a week, maybe 2 weeks. My husband had about 3 weeks off. Feels a little bit different, he said, to put the uniform on and go back to work. So welcome back to work and for school for a lot of kids as well. It's a big day back. We've got some news you can use. We've got some sports news, and then we're going to get into our wellness talk today with Jenny Gabriel. She is a nutritional practitioner with JG Optimal Wellness. And if you're brand new to the show, by the way, welcome aboard. We love having you. We're on every morning at 7 a.m. on multiple platforms. So share this with all of your family and friends, and let's keep the inspiration going. We also have a segment we started about 2 years ago this month, and that gives the weather in our local area. St. Louis, Missouri is where we are based, over into southern Illinois. We give you the weather. But if you're in other cities and other states, shout out, tell us where you're watching from, and just let us know what the weather's like where you are, especially if you're in some gorgeous warm climate. However, I think it's going to be warm here, even though we're into January. Let's find out. It's a segment that we call What the Weather.
Good evening from St. Louis, Missouri, and it is a beautiful one.
Segment is from our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore. All right, it's back to school day today for you, Beckett?
I still
All right, so a lot of you, again, are just heading back. Some of the kids that have been off for a while, some of them maybe still have a few days left before they go back. We're talking about this change in the weather pattern. Again, we went into the teens, up and down roller coaster, but if you're in St. Louis, and maybe you're still visiting, this is what it's like, Beckett, right? It's just crazy how St. Louis is.
Yes, it's up and down.
It's nuts. And by the way, for those of you that are tuning in, if Beckett's cutting out just a little bit, we had some audio issues we're trying to fix with it, but hopefully you can hear him. Let me have Beckett give you the forecast. I'm pretty much thinking that it's going to be a warm one. Is that right?
Yeah. So 30 degrees right now. Air sky, 36. Sunrise at 7:90. Sunset at 4. Now today, with sunny skies and at 7 out. Look at this. Low 46 nights. We had Wednesday. Read that right there.
Yeah, like I said, we're having some audio issues with Beckett. So Beckett's smart, right? He knows this in the industry. It's like, never mind. I just want to show you the forecast. Let's bring him up full again one more time, and he can just point to all of it so that you guys can see this. 61, 61, 62, 63. This is so not average what you would expect. He told me a couple weeks ago we would be pretty much in the 40s. That would be average, and then into the 20s. That would make sense. So into next Saturday and Sunday, that's what you would expect. But enjoy this. For those of you that want snow, it's not coming yet. We'll check in with Beckett. Hopefully we can get this audio thing fixed. And then on Friday, we'll check in and see if that SNOW word is in any kind of a January forecast. My friend, thank you and enjoy your day.
Thank you, you too.
All right, Beckett Moore again for us for the last couple of years. Just absolutely love him. And I do want to say, by the way, we're looking for a new sponsor for our What the Weather segment. I want to say congratulations to Mike Vernacci. Mike is getting out of this weather, going to Florida. He made that announcement on social media. I thought it was a prank, and no, it's true. He took a job in St. Petersburg, Florida. So Grade Works LLC had been our sponsor for the last several months. Best of luck to you, Mike, and thank you for all that you've done with the excavating and all of the grading work. So now, for you, your business, we could have you as a sponsor of our weather segment, which is what we start with before we get into our news you can use. Okay, everywhere you are probably looking and scrolling, and any news stations that you're looking at where everybody is talking about Venezuela, talking also about how travel has been impacted, including in our immediate areas. Let me give the latest, and this actually was just within the last half hour. So some updates for you if you have not been following along, and maybe you haven't been seeing this this over the weekend. Then I'll bring you up to speed. Nicolas Maduro, the ousted Venezuela leader, and his wife are scheduled to be arraigned today on drug trafficking and other charges. President Trump suggesting that the U.S. could take action against other countries, including Colombia, as well as Mexico. Now, the biggest has been how the Caribbean air travel is recovering after the action shuts down the airspace. So air travel in the Caribbean mostly recovering. On Saturday, the FAA issued the emergency notice to air missions prohibiting U.S. airlines from entering Venezuela airspace and the Caribbean corridor, which includes San Juan, as well as Curacao and Piarco. The orders caused mass flight cancellations throughout the region. So I looked into it. It did improve yesterday morning when the FAA allowed the prohibitions in those areas to expire. They were replaced by the advisory for the same areas, which actually will remain in effect until February 2nd, but they do not prohibit flying. So at St. Louis Lambert International Airport, the delays were very minimal and they are back. You always, of course, want to check in with your carrier. Don't directly call the airport. Check with your carrier to see if there are any delays or cancellations. There were more delays than there were cancellations in our immediate area. But again, continue to look into that. Nicolas Maduro and his wife expected to appear today at a federal court in Manhattan. They will face charges of drug trafficking and other crimes just 2 days after they were captured. Maduro, by the way, is charged with narco-terrorism and conspiracy to import cocaine, among some other charges, according to an unsealed indictment. His wife is also charged in the conspiracy. Their capture followed a months-long campaign by the Trump administration to drive out the autocratic leader. So again, from a travel standpoint, that was what I wanted you to understand from a news you can use component. Now, the other thing we were talking about just last week had to do with helping out our small businesses, especially restaurants. And we talked about what they said they needed, which is for you to come and eat throughout the week, as well as if you're ordering, pickup, delivery, do it directly from the restaurant, not a third-party app, as well as buying gift cards. And hopefully you did all of that. Unfortunately, a dear friend of ours who's been on the show, Steve Ewing, one of his locations, and they do have other locations open, which is a good thing. Two people actually that have been on our show in the past, owning Steve's Hot Dogs and the Fountain on Del Mar, not the Fountain on Locust. Unfortunately, having to close their doors. And I'm not sure if you saw this news. Steve's Hot Dogs and the Fountain announced on Saturday they are closing their Del Mar locations. Again, I'm stressing it's the Del Mar locations only, and that will happen on January 10th. A post from Steve's Hot Dogs said, "This isn't the post we ever wanted to make." The post went on to state that after the May 16th tornado, the businesses reached a point to no longer sustain daily operations on Del Mar, and it said, "We're doing everything in our power to ensure every single member of our Del Mar family has a place within our company as we move to 2026. The post went on to explain they're looking for space in their brick and mortar to help in their stadiums and events team or help with a new food truck. So once again, this does not affect the Fountain on Locust or Steve's Hot Dogs. He has a location in Chesterfield and also on Grand. So please go and support those. If you don't want them to go away, it is definitely up to all of us. You know, they have their employees. Many of them make minimum wage or maybe a little under, and they work on tips as well. Did you see the minimum wage going up? And that took effect, by the way, just a few days ago. $15 per hour. That new requirement took effect as workers and economists weigh potential impacts. What do you think about that $15 an hour? The wage increase is drawing attention from workers, economists, and advocates as the cost of living continues to climb and wages haven't kept up for many Missourians. Again, the living wage in Missouri actually $21.60 an hour, so $15 definitely a step in the right direction, but it doesn't get us to the point where someone can live off of minimum wage. Critics argue businesses could struggle with higher labor costs, which could eventually be passed on to consumers. The increase, by the way, took place New Year's Day, many watching now to see whether it delivers bigger paychecks and brings more people back into the workforce. I hope so. Another story that I'm carrying forward, and many of you maybe already saw this, but I thought it was definitely one that I needed to bring back in case you did not see this. This has to do with your pets, your doggies. Many treats being recalled for salmonella contamination. It applies to Country Vet Biscuits Original Meaty Flavor and Heartland Harvest Dog Biscuits Meaty Flavor with chicken, both sold in 4-pound bags. They had an expiration date of September 6th of 2026, and they were sold right here in Missouri, as well as Nebraska, Texas, Kansas, Iowa, and Colorado. The FDA fortunately said no illnesses have been reported. Customers, you can return the products to the store where you bought them for a full refund. Now, I'm doing this story because I saw a post from my neighbor about what was supposed to be the most incredible day, or one of the most incredible days of their daughter's life. She got engaged. They all went to Colorado to go surprise her. And just a couple days later, she was in a skiing accident. Of course, the very first thing out of my husband's mouth, see, Monica, that's why you shouldn't ski. Skiing is dangerous. Well, she broke her femur. Fortunately, she did make it back home and she's recovering. That is Scott Holman, who's been on our show before. That's his daughter. So please send prayers out to Olivia. Well, I'm glad she wasn't hurt to this extent. The worst day of my life. That is a quote from this particular mother after her 18-year-old son was seriously injured in, yes, a skiing accident. This Georgia mother says her family's lives completely changed. The 18-year-old, a freshman at the University of Georgia, seriously injured back on December 17th. He was on a trip to Colorado, hospitalized in Denver, having suffered a fractured skull, broken ribs, a collapsed lung, a broken collarbone, and a number of other injuries. He was intubated, wasn't awake, had tubes and braces. They weren't even sure that he was going to survive. So there's a medical flight to get this particular teenager to the Shepherd Center that could cost more than $100,000. There is a GoFundMe that was set up to help cover that cost, and they raised more than $102,000 as of early today, which is incredible. And this is why I do these kind of stories. I just love how the community continues to step up and makes a complete difference. So I'm going to be checking in to see if Scott and his family need any assistance. I would say right now, though, they're very faith-based and very big on, again, helping you help them from a prayer standpoint. So, Scott, our thoughts and prayers definitely going out to you. Again, if you're just tuning in, giving you a little news you can use. Are you familiar with Mickey Rourke? You know, this is interesting. People see people and then they think, oh, well, you've got it made. You're in the entertainment industry. Well, he approved a GoFundMe himself to prevent eviction. This is an exclusive from The Hollywood Reporter. Facing this eviction notice from his LA rental home, the 73-year-old Mickey Rourke is turning to GoFundMe to pay $59,000 in owed rent. Launched early yesterday morning and with his full permission, the crowdfunding drive, it's called Support Mickey to Prevent Eviction, urges fans to help him stay in his home. He's currently facing a very difficult and urgent situation and at risk of being evicted. Life doesn't always move in a straight line, he said, and despite everything that he's given through his work and his life, he's now dealing with a challenging financial moment that has put his housing at risk. So, you know, again, you see all of these actors and actresses get into the business and you think they have it set for life. Not the case at all. So wonder what he did with his money throughout his career. All right, how many of you are in an HOA in your neighborhood, right? You have your meetings, somebody's part of financing, somebody's a president, others too busy, don't want to be a part of it. And I know it's not a good thing. Somebody has to. But imagine this. There's a woman that put a trash bag in her dumpster and then it blew out. And now she's being slapped with this fine. This is my crazy story of the day. She's a single mom, by the way. So she's being slapped with this fine after the wind blew her trash bag from a full dumpster. This is crazy. It's in an area, by the way, called Surprise, Arizona. She's a single mother who rents her townhome and she was fined $150 by her homeowners association after a takeout bag that she left by an overflowing dumpster blew into the street. She said she left the brown paper bag from her $20 dinner by the dumpster because it was already full. It contained a receipt with her name, and that's the only reason why they knew it was her. And now she's getting this $150 fine over the incident. What do you think? The HOA office, by the way, was closed for New Year's Day, did not respond to request for comment. As of Thursday, she had not been able to address her concerns directly with the HOA or dispute the charge, which was automatically applied to her rental portal. I think that's crazy. Okay. Feel free to weigh in. I always love to see what our audience thinks. But if that was you, and again, she's a single mom, she needs every dollar that she can get. And now she's slapped with this. I disagree with this. So that's me. What do you think? Weigh in. I think some of these fines are just again, I think some of the restrictions that they have in HOAs are a little crazy, but this particular fine shouldn't be there. All right, football fans, are you ready for the playoffs? Are you ready for some football? It is time. The 2025 NFL playoff schedule has been released. At week 18 is where we are for the 2025 regular season. It is winding down. We know the NFL playoff bracket as well, with the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC, Denver Broncos in the AFC earning the number 1 seed, a first-round bye, and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So it begins Saturday at 4:30. It's the Rams, the LA Rams, of course, against the 4th seed Carolina Panthers. That'll be on Fox. At 8 o'clock, it'll be the Green Bay Packers against the Bears on Amazon Prime. Then Sunday, you got the Bills and the Jaguars. That'll be the first game. 4:30, then it's the 49ers and the Eagles. And then in the evening at 8 o'clock, the Chargers against the Patriots. And on Monday at 8:15, the 5th seed Houston Texans taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Did you watch the Steelers game yesterday? I was watching that before I headed to bed. And then hockey, you've got a handful of days off, but the first shutout of the season, by the way, for Jordan Binnington from the St. Louis Blues. Congratulations. That's the last game the Blues are coming off. That was on Saturday. They beat the Canadiens 2-0. Now they're back in action against the Chicago Blackhawks. You got to love that rivalry. That'll be Wednesday, 8:30 face-off, and that will be in Chicago. All right, on to our National Day of calendar. National Keto Day, National Screenwriters Day, National Whipped Cream Day, National Thank God It's Monday Day, and we have an extra one today. It is National Bird Day. How many of you like to do bird watching? It's very calming, isn't it? If you need to just calm your mind, do a little meditation, just watch the birds. There you go. You're all up to date in things that we think are maybe talkers that you could use. Let's look at all of you that are signing on. Monica, Blues are undefeated this year. Yeah, 2026. You're right there. Karen, good morning. Rose, many people avoid HOAs just because of this. Yep, maybe a warning, no fine. Yes, a warning, exactly. Maybe they need to empty that dumpster more often. HOAs suck, Christy says. I love those GoFundMe. I like giving $20 to help. Very cool. Jamie, thank you. She said she just ordered the book. All right, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Luann, good morning. Karen, good morning and Happy New Year to you. Dr. Alethea, love this. An important conversation for women to maintain our vitality in all life's phases. All right, well, Dr. Alethea, I look forward to having you weigh in throughout this hour. Good morning, Julie and Linda. I hope you're all having a great start to your day. Christy and Sean as well. So this is your community. As you're signing on, feel free to say hello to your community and ask any questions, make any comments. Stephanie said, this is nuts. My apartment, someone put trash in the wrong trash can. The renters took it out and left it on the ground. My landlord pays for the trash, so it doesn't matter. Right. So there's so many levels of things. As you are signing on this morning, I hope you're having a great start to your day. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to bring in for the first time this year in 2026, our nutritional practitioner with JG Optimal Wellness. It is Jenny Gabriel, and if you're new to the show, then it's your first time seeing her. We've got a great talk about post-menopause. All right, are you ready for that? Are you ready for any level of it? We're going to discuss this on this Menopause Monday.
Let's go 5. Who wants to go? So, $2,000. I love it so bad, don't you? It's 886. Look, it is getting hot here. Where's Nellie? $8,500, 1986. 86. 85 is what she has it at. 86. 85. 85 going once. 8,500 going twice. 8,600 he says. She's like, come on, go fast. 87. I need 87. Lift it up. Let's do this. 87. 86. All right, we're going to do it again. $8,600 going once. Does anybody believe the game is done? I didn't think so. I didn't think so either. 87. How about 88? 8,800. She has it for 87. We're going to do it again. 87 going once. Oh, look at this. He put it down. He might have it. 8,700 going twice to her. She's got it for $8,700. We're going to 64. He's talking to his buddies. They 64? Oh, he said, I think unless somebody else wants to jump in the game over here. 63, we're looking for 64. I'm going to go 63 once. Do you think the girls have it, or the guys going to steal it away? 63 twice. They say the girls have it. 63 twice. The girls have it. Congratulations. I can feel it. Yep. All right, $1,900. He's like, nope, make it work for it. How about 2,000? Keep talking. He says yes. He says yes. You want to have a game? Yes. Invite us all over for Super Bowl and have that sound bar. Twice. Why eyes, I would say. Congratulations. Right there, $10,000. Make sure that I say your number. 178 at the $2,500 level. Who else can get the $2,500? Let's hope these babies out.
And we love our wellness talks on this Monday. I'm going to call it a Menopause Monday with Jenny Gabriel. Again, if you are new to the show, let me give you all the information of how you can find her and have her involved in your life, personalizing things for you, because it's not cookie cutter, as we've been saying for a long, long time. So what are you dealing with? Are you in the first phase of menopause? Are you approaching it? Or are you in the post-menopause, the after party that no one prepared us for? Well, we're going to talk about all of that. So you see on the screen, Jenny Gabriel, again, JG Optimal Wellness. You can find her on social media. She's very active there. You can also go into her Facebook page, the Menopause Belly Secrets. And again, there's a QR code. I know all of you like to do the scanning of the QR code. You can scan that to get inside of that Facebook group. You can also have her reach out to you directly if you want to shoot her an email and personalize things, as I mentioned, for you. There's a free assessment call that you can scan to book as well. Well, let me first say Happy New Year, because it's the first time I get a chance to see you this year.
I know. Happy New Year.
Can we just talk about this gorgeous outfit she has on? I couldn't wait for her to debut this. So she came out to our holiday show at Christopher's. So shout out to Mark and Michael at Christopher's.
That's right.
And I wanted to say, how far out of your comfort zone did I take you? So we were playing around and I'm like, you need to get this. And she was like, really? And I said, oh, absolutely. And my husband agreed.
Yep.
And so we had fun dressing her.
Yeah, they dressed me for sure.
And she has earrings and you don't have pierced ears.
Yeah. You can zoom.
Are you feeling beautiful?
Oh, I feel just very beautiful.
I absolutely am in love with this. I did not know. So that's Robert Graham, by the way, for all of you that want to know what she's wearing. What are you wearing on the red carpet? Robert Graham, which I did not know made women's shirts.
No,
I've
not
bought Robert
either.
Graham for men for a long, long time for my husband.
Yes.
Are you feeling beautiful?
I am feeling amazing.
So everybody, welcome her on board again for 2026. We're excited. Before we get into our talk, and we're going to talk about post-menopause,
Yes.
which I think is really interesting because we talked a lot about perimenopause, menopause, but in that post-menopause phase and how long that phase can last, by the way, which I think is very interesting. We'll discuss that. Before we do it, I just am extremely excited. So today is a very big day for many women,
Yes.
all involved in this book launch. It's called It's About Time. And I had Kelly, who I love, Kelly Lamb Montgomery. Kelly got 35 women together. And you understand this. You've been a part of an anthology.
Yes.
How long ago?
It would have been a year ago.
About a year ago?
Yeah.
And
Ours launched in December. of
And
last
so your story was about?
It was just about basically it was about what made me do what I do today.
Oh, okay.
So it was a look back, was about resilience and just being driven and what brought me to where I am today, doing the things that I'm doing. And
Right.
so it goes back to my childhood, to my mother. And so there's a lot of context to the anthology. I think they're great. I think it gives you the ability to kind of give a snapshot of what you're doing,
Right.
but could lead to something more on your own in the
Absolutely.
future.
Well, and that's what I love. So there's a lot of people that talk about, I want to be an author. I want to release a book.
Yeah.
And until you do that, it's wonderful when these people step forward and say, well, why don't you be a part of this? And that way you can say you're a published author and it kickstarts, which is really why I finally said yes.
Yeah.
I've been asked by a handful of people in the past. Kelly's been a dear friend of mine for a long, long time. And I said, all right, because it's you. Let's do it. And so there you go. I'm super excited to say that officially myself, and by the way, many women in this book, you will probably recognize many from media, but as well, people that you're like, that person was on Monica's show. Oh, that person was on Monica's show. Yes, there are 35 women in this. It's about time. So same thing that Jenny's talking about. It is the stories, and some of these women that you've known for a long time, you might be like, I've even known them and I didn't know that story.
Yes.
Right? Where do you get the inspiration from? What have you overcome? Some of them are gut-wrenching. Some of them are absolutely hilarious.
Right.
Some of them are shocking. And some of them just bear all, which I think is amazing. They're a little scared to put their story out there. Oh, I just got chill. This is cool.
Yeah.
So it's about time. Officially, the ebook is only $2.99 today. And so there's the link that you can go to. We can drop that in the comments a little bit later on as well. If you want a paper book, if you want a hard bound book, I do. I like holding something in my hand. Are you the same way, or do you like Kindles?
I actually, you're going to not believe this. Last year, I shifted to a Kindle.
Did you?
I've always been a book person, and
Yeah.
there are some things that it's got to be a book, but I shifted to the Kindle, and I'm like, I don't know why I ever thought I didn't need a Kindle.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just an introduction. I think people that travel, it
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes.
One of my best friends, she's always on the Kindle, and I get it. Me, I just love having books. So if you're the same way and you would like to have something inspirational from myself, you want a signed copy, let me know. Either shoot me an email or direct message me, and I'll make sure that you get one. But again, congratulations, Kelly, and to all of these beautiful women. It's about time. And my chapter, by the way, has to do with the awakening, which when I was 19 years old and I had my blood clot, it all started from there. Why do I live my life the way I do? It's all from 19 years old on. And it also is to keep me on course to release my own book.
Yes.
The rest of the
Yes.
awakening. Okay?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I'm keeping you on task, friend.
All right, so we started with that. And again, thank you for those of you that have already purchased it. We greatly appreciate it. If you need any more information, just drop that into me. Okay, so we're going to talk today, Jenny, about post-menopause. And the thing I found really ever since Jenny's been on, when she talks to us about these different phases and how long they last, I think that's really a wake-up call for so many of us.
Right.
Post-menopause can last how long?
Well, 30 years, but it can last forever.
Great.
It's the last phase you're in. But like the first part of postmenopause, which we call early, is 1 to 5 years. That's after you've had a full year where you have not cycled. Then you look back, you're like, oh, that was menopause. That's the year that you don't have a cycle. Okay. Then postmenopause starts
Right after that.
right after that. And it's the first 5 years is what we call early postmenopause, and then 5 years and beyond is what we call late postmenopause.
Okay.
I like to call it, spring and summer season.
I like it not to call me at all. So, okay, for all of you that are tuning in, if you have any comments, any questions, if you have not been a part of the show before, people are giving thumbs up and loves, welcome to the show. A lot of brand new viewers are watching, getting a chance to listen to this. So, ladies, no matter what level you're in, it's really good for you to hear what's coming for you, as what we've talked about before.
Yes.
So, this is definitely not a
Yes.
party we wanted an invite to.
Right.
But
not really, but we got it anyway.
We've got to do it anyway. So we want to normalize it. Okay, so let's normalize it. What post-menopause really is?
Well, it's the 12 months, post period, right? That's when it starts, what we just talked about. It's hormones. You're going to start to see those shifting. You're going to see where the nervous system is going to need a little bit more coddling still going into that.
In what way?
In the way of being more calm.
Okay.
Okay.
So we need to release stress because that just makes it worse.
Stress is huge. Stress is important in every foundation. I know we've talked a lot about this on the show, and it's like a broken record for those of you that have been listening. But, it's like if we keep putting it on repeat, you're going to finally listen to what we're saying.
Exactly.
I mean, seriously,
no, it's true.
You just can't say it enough. And stress is a foundational component through perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, all of those phases. It's key. So we've got to keep that, we just need to be aware of that, all right? And we need to be making efforts to lower that stress. And we talked about it a lot on the show. We'll talk a little bit about it today. But the other thing we see with postmenopause is we don't have that hormonal, what we call whiplash, where you're, it's sporadically up and it's down and it's up and it's down. It's like you're on this roller coaster all day long with hormones. 1 minute you're crying, the next minute you're loving, and the next minute you're laughing, I think women understand what
Well,
I'm saying by that, because
I
it
think,
happens.
but I think men also, as they're
Oh, yeah, yeah.
listening, understand because they're
Yeah.
trying to figure out. And I really do. I keep saying this. I am glad that men are watching and listening to this.
Yes.
Then you can be empathetic. And you can
Yes.
understand that they're not trying to be a biatch.
Yeah, not trying to be the biatchy bar.
It's just in the hormonal aspect.
Right.
And so anything you can do to keep stress away from them, because that's making it worse.
Right, that's
And-
making it worse,
And actually
definitely.
ask them questions. Be kind. And just
Right.
say, all right, I hear this is why you're going through this. How can I help? How can they help, by the way? I think that's a really good question. How can everyone around a woman that's going through this help them?
It's more or less helping that stress level stay down, being kind, being understanding. As a spouse, I know that's hard, and that's probably a whole show we need to do, honestly, is about how men can support their wife going through this.
I'd like
right?
to have a man join us on the show.
Oh, absolutely. Because these are, I totally agree with you on that, because they don't know. I honestly, Greg said the other day, he goes, I said, just, be calm. And he says, I said, it's about being compassionate and be caring. He goes, well, what do I need to do? They don't
That's what
know
I'm saying.
what
They don't.
need to do.
Nor do kids, because kids obviously don't
yes,
understand.
and even my adult children, are probably like, oh, there's my
It's one of those
You know?
days. Stay
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
But it's no different. I mean, as you think about when we first start our periods, it's the same thing.
Right. Oh my gosh,
I mean,
yes.
it's this lifelong. Does it ever end?
Yes, exactly. But we need to approach postmenopause because there's becoming more education around it, which
Yes.
is great. We're starting to see more things
Right.
around that. But they need to actually look at this as the next chapter. All right. And that chapter doesn't have to be poopy. Okay.
All right, we're talking postmenopause, all right? Once again, if you're just tuning in, this is Jenny Gabriel with JG Optimal Wellness, and she can help you in many levels. As we talk about these things, it is really being armed with the information of what do you do with it.
Yes.
She comes into play there. She'll start to address how are we eating, and that's the nutrition side of a lot of it. But it's also what's happening within the body, which is why she does some incredible testing. We've been talking about the HTMA testing, but you have more that you're bringing into 26, which we stressed
Right.
last year. I love that. So it's this
Yes.
arsenal that she can do. Functional testing as well. Looking at the body and the whole really, it's you looking at the whole person, right?
Right. I'm looking at the whole person, and I'm really looking at it from a nutritional standpoint.
Right.
Like, what can we do nutritionally wise to help that? And especially in postmenopause, we start to see mineralization being an issue. I see it all the way through the thread, but in postmenopause, it's super, super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about the big shift. So
Yeah.
from hormone chaos, nervous system sensitivity.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of people don't even think about the nervous system. They're just going along in life and they're like, what is wrong with me? But it's all out of whack, right?
Right. And that's because estrogen's dropping. Estrogen is our buffer for stress. And when we don't have that, progesterone as well it can be hand in hand with that, but estrogen definitely. Cortisol just hits harder during this time phase because of that. So we need to work around doing more lifestyle things that are going to help reduce cortisol. Because I will tell you, cortisol will affect bone density. And we need
Ding,
to
ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. And so as we're in postmenopause, there's some main things which we haven't gotten to yet, but we're looking at, when I look at postmenopausal women, I'm looking, all right, what phase are they in, the early or are they in the late? Because that kind of trajectory will tell me where we need to start and where we need to look towards helping them. But cardiovascular, making sure, we're supporting metabolic health, making sure that we're supporting bone density, making sure we're, supporting metabolic issues, because this is when we start to see a lot of that occur coming out of that menopausal. And we'll see blood labs kind of show that too. But for me, I'm doing it from a nutritional lifestyle standpoint, usually sometimes paired with a physician that's working with them on the other end. For the
Well,
most
and
part.
you literally just took the words out of my mouth. I wanted to say that because there are a lot of people who have approached me and said, ooh, does she do all the different labs and stuff? And I said, she works hand in hand. She is looking at it from the whole body and how are we eating? How are we living our lifestyle?
Right,
And
right,
then she'll do
correct.
some testing, but if you need lab work done, and then if it then becomes, okay, let's see, looking into hormone replacement therapy or bioidenticals, you have your experts that you work with. So it's really, it's having all these people working for you.
Right. And it's not a one size fit all thing either. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm doing this. And, but the problem with that is is 99% of the time we're doing something as a patch. So like if you're doing HRT or BHRT, either one of those, or patching or whatever you're doing, or pelleting, that's one aspect of
Right.
that.
How are you living your life out beyond that?
How are you living it outside of that? Because the nutritional part of it, the lifestyle part of it is only going to make those things that you're doing medically just catapult you
Absolutely.
into a very good position.
And again, ultimately, we're trying to get you to be the best version of you, and you
Yeah,
can be.
full body.
This discussion was one of the top discussions as I was working out with my clients over the weekend. That, and you and Dr. Brooke Kalisiak were on my show in the past.
Yes.
Those women were talking
health,
about
huge.
pelvic, and they all collectively were like, well, this really is just not something. And I said, no, how many times do we have to say that's not normal?
Right.
So
No,
it's,
pelvic health is big too.
yes, all of these
100%.
things that we're working together. So we don't want you to just feel like, yes, I get into this phase and I'm just going to deal with all of this. And this is just, I'm going to be miserable. No. We're trying to get you to know that you're not going to be miserable. Okay, so you just talked about cardiovascular.
Yeah.
And it's very common for a lot of women to think, I got to work out harder. I got to push. And so
Yes.
this part is all having to do why doing more will actually backfire on them, right?
It will, because it's a cortisol thing again. It's that stress thing, and we're going into what I would, what I think of postmenopausal is calming. Is calming down, listening to the body's signals, and not ignoring them anymore.
Absolutely.
And making those adjustments of where you need to.
So they're looking at it as doing more workouts, high intensity interval training. I got to push. And you've mentioned on past shows,
Yes.
no. I mean, ladies, I hope this is a wake up call for a lot of you as you're listening to this. If that is what you're doing and it is not working for you and you keep packing on the pounds, you're miserable, you're stressed out.
Yeah.
This is why more is not better.
Yeah, this is why that is the case. That's a stress thing, and that's cortisol. And again, you've got your estrogen that's depleted or progesterone that's depleting, and those are your calming down mechanisms. It's just like the perfect storm. And then, and so when women say, I'm packing on belly fat and I'm seeing it, I'll see it with women even in perimenopause, depending on adrenal function. If, they are in kind of like what we consider adrenal fatigue.
Right.
I'll see this weight gain come around the stomach too, but you really see it postmenopausal because they become more sedentary, and we don't want to become more sedentary. Just because we slow down doesn't mean we stop.
Well, you don't want to
There's a
become
difference.
sedentary. You don't want to push too hard. And you do not, before we take the break, stress to you, do not skip meals.
Do not skip meals.
And don't eat less because...
Don't eat less. Don't skip meals because that's going to cause the same thing. The body's going to recognize that as starvation. And we have to remember about muscle mass during this time frame because that's part of, our metabolic, helps us with metabolism. And so if we're not building muscle, or we're depleting muscle, which I call, that's sarcopenia, that's where you have muscle loss, right? We see this happen, and we also see osteoporosis, that's the bone density part. So we really need to be ramping up mineralization. We need to be looking at, hydration. We need to be looking at slower movements, but doing progressive load workouts, weight training, body weight training, all of those things, and protein. Don't not eat protein.
Well,
women are terrible at this.
You are terrible at it, ladies. I'm sorry. We're doing this. Yes, we are shaking our finger at you today. More protein is needed. Do not just eat one meal a day thinking, oh my gosh, I'm putting on weight, so I'm going to skip meals.
Which is not
slowing your metabolism down.
Yes.
And then you're frustrated and you were trying to do more, and then you're still, gaining weight, and then all of a sudden you just stop.
Right.
These are all things that are going to be bad for you, okay? We're giving you everyone's looking for, what can she give me to make me live a better life? All of this. But we're also saying, don't overwhelm yourself and just throw it all in at once.
Right.
Start making changes. I just put out something yesterday on TikTok that said, make one change and watch how your life will become what you want it to be. Then make the other change, but keep them going. Don't let go of the one that's working.
Right.
Right.
It's a building process.
Yes, building
and that's
blocks.
how I work with the clients that I work with. We build, and we base it upon where they're at and where their comfort level is. I do encourage people to get a little bit, get comfortable being a little uncomfortable.
Because that's my favorite thing.
That's a challenging part of this. But layering those habits in, just because you accomplish the habit doesn't mean you drop the habit when you add something else in.
Yes.
That habit just becomes like riding the bike or brushing the teeth. It's just part of your everyday life.
So again, if you're doing HIIT training,
Yeah.
if you are skipping meals,
Yeah.
if you are doing more and it's not working, precision beats punishment. We don't want you
Right.
to punish yourself, by the way. So giving
Right.
yourself some grace. All right, one more
Yeah.
before we take our
Yeah.
break. We're talking about metabolism. So the truth about metabolism, it didn't quit, it evolved. I think this is a powerful statement.
Yeah, it evolved, and that's why like muscle, it's our metabolic currency. We don't look at it like that, but let's look at it like currency. If we don't have that muscle mass that we need, and that's not bulking, ladies, that's just making sure that we feel strong and resilient, right? Making sure that we're getting that strength training in. That's going to help with that metabolic currency, which is going to help with the metabolism as too. It's especially as we're when we get into postmenopause, calorie deficit usually reduces about 200 to 400 calories because we're not burning as much, and not that you're being sedentary, but you may not be as burning as much as we age because of just aging in general. And so it's important to maintain that muscle mass, but also protein timing matters. And I stress this a lot with clients. I like to put it around times when they're going to be needing that protein load versus them just eating all throughout the day.
And you've talked in the past about the pairing of food and how that matters.
Yeah, pairing of food. You can't eat a carb without, put clothes on it. I
Right.
said, it's naked. If you don't have clothes on it, meaning the protein or fat with it, then it just immediately uses glucose. It's not, it's just like, poof, it's gone. We're not utilizing it like
Right.
we need to when we pair it with a protein or fat.
Again, eat smart.
Yeah.
And have the education on this.
Yeah.
Insulin sensitivity.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Yes.
I see this big time, so big time in women. A lot of this has to do with toxicity, the foods that we're eating. All of those things could become a part of this. If we're eating a lot of overly processed foods, I'll see this become worse. But it's that blood sugar spiking up and down
Right.
situation that we have going on. And then we become more insulin
The
insulin
sensitivity.
resistant.
Yes.
Yeah, and so then we're not insulin sensitive like we need to be, so the glucose can get in the cell and do the thing. Instead, now it's going in the tissue and not doing the thing it needs to be doing.
And this is the reason why I've always asked you, when's the last time you had any kind of blood work done? And there's specific blood work that you want to ask for, specific labs that you want to ask for. So when you hear these type of things, go be the advocate, go to your OBGYN, go to your general practitioner, ask them what they're doing when they're doing those labs and say, hey, can you run this? Because it was a wake-up call for me when I told you I was in adrenal fatigue and didn't know it. And my A1C was, I was like, wait, what? What are you talking about? So I was approaching what I thought was going to be diabetic. And it was, well, right now I think you are insulin resistant. And I thought, interesting. Then I brought it down because I got this education that, okay, I got to change whatever I'm doing here. Maybe I'm eating something naked. I don't know.
Maybe I need to be closing my food again.
It was a lot of things. Okay, so again, stress management as well equals weight management.
Yeah, it does.
So keep the stress down.
Yeah, we got to keep the stress down. There's lots of techniques to do that with. And that's one of the things that I love when a client comes to me and says, I'm not stressed. Oh, really?
She can see it when she does these tests. A good question.
Yeah.
And let me actually go to some of your questions before we take a break here. So Leela just asked, what labs do we need to ask for? So what would be specific that maybe they're not automatically thinking?
Well, I think definitely a full metabolic panel. I would definitely have hormones tested. Make sure you have a full thyroid panel tested. These are just like go-to ones for someone that wants to know more about where their baseline's at. If you haven't had a baseline into menopause at all, if you're postmenopausal, I would still ask for those things so you know where you're at. I think insulin marker is a good one. A1C is a good marker. Cholesterol panel, definitely. Some people like to do, they like to look at the inflammation marker with that too.
Yep.
So all of those are good things to have on board so that you have a place to start, right? And don't be overwhelmed with the results when you get them. If there's some things that are out of whack, just start with something.
No, I think at that point, it's like,
You know?
well, it's easy for people to get stressed once they go to the doctor. Like,
for
what?
sure.
For me, I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as, okay, well, then what can we do with this? Now I'm armed with the information.
You looked at it as an opportunity
Yes.
to do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see. Linda says more like a late summer, never ending season.
Yeah.
I kept telling my husband it will end when I do. Oh my goodness.
I hope it doesn't.
Stephanie said I had a
really-
hysterectomy last year in June. I went through menopause. Can you go through it again? I was off for a month, not myself. I'm better now.
Well, I think probably what's happening, you might be like phantom cycling. I see a
Oh.
lot of women do that, especially if they are younger when they have a hysterectomy. You'll see phantom cycling, and that's where your body will actually, you'll have some of the same symptoms you had when you were cycling. And I'm not sure if that's what she's indicating or asking about, but I do see phantom cycling.
Okay, and then I
happen.
just asked my husband if I was difficult when I was going through menopause. He said, quote, no more than usual. So let's be real, girls. Sometimes I think it's a pause from men's pause. All right, again,
awesome.
questions, comments. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the calming aspect, the calm connection, why it is non-negotiable. I know you're all in life thinking, oh my gosh, but I'm stressed. You're making it worse for yourself. So
Yes.
you've got to find mechanisms and ways to get calmer, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Jenny Gabriel from JG Optimal Wellness.
Thankful to Monica for having me on the show here today. I just love having the opportunity to try and help other people. There are a lot of people in my life that were there for me in my time of need, and that was important for me today to talk to Monica about that. You know, you can get low and then work yourself back up to where you want to be, and people around you can help you do that. Surround yourself with the right people. That's what Monica tries to do here with this show. In fact, I know that's what she wants to do, is she wants people that are like-minded to help each other, to point each other in the right direction, to lift each other up, not put each other down. It was amazing for me to sit in here and talk with Monica, and hopefully it helps somebody along the way. I know that every show that she puts on is fantastic. It's worth your while to be tuning in every single day. Don't worry about some of the negativity around the world, whether it's on TV and this, that, the other. Tune in here to Monica and let her tell her story as well as her guests tell their story. There's always something that you can get from somebody else. And if you pick up just one little thing that helps you, that makes this a success. And that is why I'm here with Monica today.
And I was just having a conversation with someone the other day about the importance of making sure you follow us on YouTube, because that's where the library of our shows are. Meta gets rid of them on Facebook, and Instagram goes away as soon as we end. So if you want to know about these past shows, a lot of the past shows we've done together, go to YouTube. Even if you watch us on Facebook, be sure to follow me on YouTube as well. Again, it's The Real Monica Adams. All right, we're talking about calming. And I know right away, Jenny, people are going to be like, no, life is stressful. I've got kids. I've got a stressful job.
Sure.
But it's not staying in that stress, because it's not helping you whatsoever. Let's see. Somebody just said, thanks, Jenny. This makes sense to me. Bab said, great advice on the testing. Jenny, one of my favorites. Let's see. Hang on. Let me put my glasses on. One of my friends is 68. All of a sudden, she says she's depressed, getting older. Do you ever hear this from clients? I worry about her. Everyone quickly tells her to take an antidepressant. See, everybody's just quick to put somebody on pharmaceutical drugs, which is not a good thing. Do you hear that a lot? Depression?
Yeah, you do see that with us. You do. And I don't know, it's seasonally too, like after the holidays, we'll see that be worse, but just not with everybody, but also seasonal.
Affective disorder, yep.
Yeah, we'll also play into that. Not saying that's what this
Well, let's say if
wonderful
somebody
woman
does
has,
tell
but-
you that, that's a good question, though. If somebody does say, I am feeling more depressed, again, you would probably say, well, let's do that. Let's work with somebody on the labs, because their hormones, I'm sure, are off.
Yeah.
They're not going to have to stay in that, but depression does come with this.
Exactly.
Of course it does. You're gaining weight. You're sluggish. Your
And
energy's
you're
down.
tired. Yeah, and you're tired. That's, yeah.
So again, we're trying to get you in a calmer phase. Calmness was the big discussion over the last couple of weeks. I'm trying to help Jim calm. And I put a meditation app on his phone.
Oh, wow.
which is not something he ever thought he would do.
Yeah.
He started it. It's a new resolution.
Okay.
I think meditation is key.
Yeah.
We've talked about breathing in the past.
Yeah, eye
But
scanning.
again, why it's non-negotiable is what we're going to discuss right now.
Yeah, it's just this. You have to do this because it affects everything else.
Yep.
It's so foundational. I said that earlier in the show today. When we do not keep cortisol down, that's going to be direct, especially postmenopausal women. It's going to be a bone density. It can be correlated to that, but also blood sugar handling.
And again, the biggest issue why, and we just talked about depression, why a lot of people get depressed is that belly weight.
Yes.
And that
It's
happens
belly weight,
right.
sleep issues.
Sleep issues. I just told.
Yep, we were just
I
talking
just
about
told
that on
Jenny at the
break.
break. I'm like, I didn't sleep the best last night, and she's like, "Why? Is your mind racing?" Probably that. Issues with my pillow,
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
getting back to work. I don't know. A lot of things. We talked about the nervous system. So nervous
Yep.
system safety plus hormonal stability. And I just mentioned I didn't sleep well, but how many of you are right here with me? Rest is productive, not lazy. I want naps more.
Well, you
That's
know,
not a good thing, though. You had told me.
no, I don't think that napping is a problem. It's just when you want to nap all the time.
I don't want to nap
You
all
know.
the time, but I want to take longer than 20 minutes.
Well, that's okay. Your body needs it. You're in that phase. You're in that
Here's what
season.
I think,
but
though,
you go.
I do, but here's what I'm really wondering. One is I probably need to get some new lab work done to see where
True.
I am. At the same time, though, because of the hours I kept for 30 years, I think my body's just like, we are playing catch up.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And this was a lesson I had to learn too, is to slow down, because I used to get up at the butt crack of dawn too.
Yep.
And I'd, get my workout in, do all this stuff before I actually started work. And I don't do that now.
I would love, though. To me, you just made me smile thinking that I would get up and do a 4 a.m. or a 5 a.m. workout. For me, I was up at 1:30 going into work.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to do the workout. I think
You had to do it later.
Right. I am much better when that workout's in there.
Oh, yeah.
So for all of you that are looking, where do
agree.
you do your workout?
I love doing it in the morning.
It's done and you feel more energized.
100%.
I feel like I could take on the world.
Same.
Okay, we've been talking about bones. I want to go a little deeper into this. Bones, strength, confidence. Strong, not fragile. And you really have to be careful with, as you're aging, we talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
osteopenia, osteoporosis, why you need more calcium, why the importance of, again, more supplementation and how you're eating, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where mineralization comes in really well because, and I'll just use HTMA as an example. This is the hair tissue mineral analysis that I do. It's a 90-day look at what the cells are doing in the body. Okay. If I have a client that comes back with a calcium shell, that tells me, and then they have D levels that are low,
Right.
that's a problem because that's telling me that the calcium's not getting into.
not absorbed, right?
No,
Yes.
it's not. It's being
That was
absorbed
what
in the
my problem was.
tissue, and you don't want that to happen. And so that's so important when we're going into this. You're thinking, "Oh, I'm doing all the right things," but yet it's not going where it needs to be going.
Right. If it's not absorbing properly, you are working against yourself. And then you're wondering, especially as you're older,
Yeah.
and again, we're trying to get you
Yeah.
strong so that if you were to fall or anything like that.
Yes. Well, muscle and bone
Yes.
are key.
Key.
Going into this. They are, in my opinion, a non-negotiable as well.
You think some women are going along going, oh, hopefully that won't be me and I won't have any bone loss.
Oh, I have women tell me now, "Oh, I'm done with menopause. I'm all over it. I don't need to do anything." Guess what? Wake up, ladies. Yes, you do.
So bone loss is not inevitable.
It is not inevitable. We have to be really focusing and dialing in on our bone density, and we need to be doing that before we get to post-menopause.
Well, and I almost said this earlier. I'm glad you just said that again because it made me want to say the earlier we are able to get to something, the better, right?
Yes.
It's just like anything. If you're
100%.
diagnosed with something, but you don't get it till it's in like a stage 2, 3, 4, we're
Right.
talking pretty much about menopause stages. If
Right.
you're waiting until the latter part of it,
Yeah.
then you went through miserable years of your life.
Yes.
So we're trying to get you earlier.
Right. We're trying to get you earlier. We're trying to work on that bone density. We're trying to get, work on that muscle mass. All of those things going into this so that if you fall, you don't fracture, you don't break something. So yeah, it's just because you're done with menopause does not mean you're done working on you.
Well, you'll never. that should be a daily thing. You're
It
always
should.
right. You
But
need
that. It's amazing.
Yes.
How many women tell me, "Well, I'm through. I don't need to work on anything."
Is that your belief, by the way?
That is
for those
not-
of you that are
that's
on
not
right
the
now.
case.
Do you all think that you're done, that you're okay? Jenny, we need you on for 2 hours. Well, she's going to be on a little bit longer today, so don't go anywhere. Rose said, I sleep good. I just
Good.
want to cut off my belly.
Ah.
I need you, Rose, to work with her. You need to reach out to her one more time. Jenny at JG Optimal Wellness. You can go to jgoptimalwellness.com. Go to her Menopause Belly Secrets page. If you're not in that, do a free assessment call. So she's here for you, but these are our shows we do every other week, but everyone's body is different. This is why I
Yes,
stress,
100%.
don't just think, okay, I can get some of this. Yes, take what we're giving you on these shows, but go a little bit deeper into it. Actually, that goes right into our next slide. One size does not fit all.
It doesn't, right? So we talked about the early menopause versus the late menopause.
Right.
Early menopause, we're looking at recovery, we're looking at hormone recalibration. That's kind of happening in that time frame. Late, we're looking at muscle. We're looking at mitochondria. That's the longevity part that we're looking at there. I'll see a lot of women that come to me. Everybody's like, what's mitochondria? If you feel like your muscles are weak or you just don't have energy, but it's not like a sugar handling thing, that's probably mitochondria.
Okay.
Because that's the energy in the cell. And then mobility. We need to be more agile. So working on balance and paired with that strength part.
Well, balance, strength, and
Mobility.
mobility. I've been incorporating a lot more mobility exercises with my clients, and it's such
Good.
a wake-up call. But that's
Yeah.
actually what we did on Saturday, and they were like, oh, wow. They all were texting yesterday about how sore they were, and I'm like, great,
good.
glutes are sore, adductors are sore, but they were all like, oh my gosh, hips. It's like if you don't do these, you're not oiling what's
Right.
creaking on you.
Right.
Right. So I want you to really, especially into the hip region. It's amazing about when someone gets introduced to mobility of, holy cow, I can't do that movement. And it's, well, that's not a good thing.
No,
Even
it's not.
even getting up out of a chair, right? We got to get that mobility as you're aging.
Well, and it's if you sit a lot and you're in a desk job,
Yep.
most of your career, then you got tightened hip flexors. So, that those hip external rotation movements, all of those things are going to be good about helping with that down the road later in life. So
Absolutely.
hit them. Hit them at the stand-up desk. Do a little hip rotation movement.
Yes.
As long as you don't have hip
Yeah,
replacement.
exactly. Always
You
check
have
with the
hip
doctor
replacements.
if you've
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
if you're just coming back, by the way, from a hip injury or some type of hip surgery, they will, in a physical therapy, they'll get you right into those exercises.
Yeah,
Don't
they
stop them though.
Yeah.
Continue them in
Right,
life. Okay.
right,
The
right, right.
intro to seasons assessment, why menopause isn't a one size fits all. So we're going to look at where you are right now.
Yeah. Where are they at right now? What does that picture look like for them? And it's like, again, it's very root cause bio individual. It's not about age or labs. It's like, where are you right now? Okay. And it's going to guide like the food, the movement, and the recovery process for women that are whatever phase that they're in. Okay.
What you're doing for them there is taking out that guesswork.
Exactly. We're removing the guesswork. Exactly.
Because they're kind of confused. Some people don't even know what phase they're in, which is why I really want them. That's why we
Yeah.
talked about personalization. That's why I really want them to work with you, is because some people are confused. I have a client right now that would have swore by her age alone that she should be in menopause, but she's like, gosh, dang it, I had a period again, and I got to start all over.
Yeah.
Some people, although they don't want to be in it, they're so confused by that phase right before that they think they are because they're putting on weight, they're irritable and all that. They're like, I've got to be in menopause. And I'm like, oh, but you're still having a period. You're not there yet.
Right. You're still, maybe you're late perimenopause.
Yeah.
And that's where those phantom cycles come in
Yes.
too. I'll see that in with that.
Absolutely.
Someone that's not kind of sputtering out on the
Let's see.
cycling.
Linda, I have had osteoporosis since my first test at age 59. I try to get high calcium foods daily, walk daily, try to get weights in. That's hard. My blood levels last time showed high D, so I was told to back off that. But either way, osteo, what's too high? My number was somewhere around 115, I think she said. Do you know what's too high?
I
No.
do not on that.
We're going to nobody look at the Vishnu collection. I don't even know if that's coming in on Instagram or Facebook, but don't call that number. Somebody's trying to, yeah. I'll get that in just a second. By the way, never click on a link unless it's coming directly from me, from somebody else, and don't call that WhatsApp number that person's trying to get you to call. Stephanie said, my body fell apart from cooking. Now I walk with a walker. I keep moving. I go to the Y and the pool 3 times a week.
Good.
Pool training.
Cool. Water's
is so good.
excellent
Yes.
for women, especially if you have joint issues or have had replacements or stuff like that. Water walking, water aerobics, those are great. I used to teach a lot of those. I used to do a rehab class. So
Yeah, do you know she was a personal trainer, by the way? Getting you in shape. She's taking care of the whole body, as I mentioned. Okay, so seasons. All right, so season 1, early post-menopause, which you call the recalibration season.
Yeah, that's, that first 1 to 5 years after you've gone 1 year without having a cycle. Okay. So hormones are going to be now newly low. We're starting to see them start to trickle really kind of bottom out, low out. Nervous system, again, is going to be a little bit more sensitive. Sleep is still going to be pretty fragile, all right? And then we're going to see weight gain common in this phase still. And so what we look at when that happens is like, what does the body need? Well, it's probably some blood sugar stability. So how are we eating? What are we eating during the day? Are we pairing the carbs with protein and fat? Those are things that I will look at specifically through a nutritional assessment questionnaire that'll give me a breakdown of like exactly how people, if they're having trouble with sugar handling. So that just tells me like if they're sleepy in the afternoon or they're, having a lot of brain, those types of things come into play for me when I'm looking at that. This is a time to do that gentle strength and recovery. So now we're going into yoga, we're going into stretching, Tai Chi, and even pulling in the meditation part. All of those things will be a key player. And
I think those are things, Jenny, that a lot of people don't think about because we mentioned earlier, the mindset, it's easy. As a human being, you think you have to do more. As we said, more is not better. So if you are a person who has incorporated weight training, resistance training, cardiovascular training, maybe you need to look at, okay, am I stretching? Am I doing mobility? Am I doing yoga? Pilates, fantastic. Deep core muscles that are trained. So if you're not, this is New Year's resolutions, all right? We get into 2026. If you just joined a gym, look at those type of classes, by the way. And you might find a brand new community. I love mixing it up.
Mix it up because the body loves that. It doesn't want to do the same thing all the time.
Maybe do a dance class.
Yeah.
I want you to laugh more, by the way, because that will reduce your stress.
Yes, laughing.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
That.
Early post-menopause mistakes. All right. This is when backfiring happens.
Yeah. This is when we start to see women go backwards instead of forwards, pushing those HIIT workouts. And I'm not saying a little bit of that isn't okay. I'm saying we're just so absorbed with just more. We got to do more. We got to do more because the weight gain or how we're feeling. Skipping meals, bringing that back in. We see a lot of that happening, not taking time to eat. Under eating protein. That's huge, guys.
That's the question I've told you I've been asked in the past is how much protein does a woman eat? And it's crazy when they say, well, I'm eating a chicken breast with my salad. And I'm like, that's it?
Yeah.
30 grams, maybe 35, depending on how big you're. I mean, that's the other thing is you really have to start, which is why you want to work with someone who is in the nutrition field for them to really make you understand what protein sources can you get in if you feel like, all right, I have to incorporate more, but what should I be eating? It's the mindset of what people go to of what their protein source is. And hopefully you can get it in more pairings, breakfast, lunch, dinner, your snacks. Protein. We can't stress it enough.
No,
also in this one, late nights plus early workouts.
Yeah. So we're staying up really late or whatever's going on. We're night out and then we're getting up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to get a workout in.
Push.
And it's just that it's that endless cycle that we're just not giving ourselves the time to slow down.
Yeah. Again.
And rest.
And
recover.
I think a lot of 2026 goals were more organization and getting you to where you have structure.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do here. Structure. So I'm hoping that you're hearing, you wake up, let's get you hydrated. Just drink some water. Drink 8 ounces of water right away. That's one of my biggest things. Do it. Oh, I already got 8 ounces in. Fantastic. Then keep incorporating it throughout the day. Make sure, again, you're eating your breakfast. You've got protein in there, that you're carving out time for you.
Yeah.
Where's your workout going to be? Where's your calming sense? Maybe a little meditation for 10, 15 minutes. Again, writing down. I told Jim yesterday, I'm like, journal. He's like, I'm not there yet. Okay, well, just trying to keep some structure in your life.
Yeah, and just starting, start with something.
Yep. Okay, then season 2, late post-menopause. So strength and longevity.
Yeah, this is where we're looking at mitochondrial health. We're looking at longevity. In both of these phases, I do want to reflect too, even in early, we're really leaning into bone density support, cardiovascular support, because those are long-term things. Those are longevity things that we want to keep on task. But hormones are going to kind of stable out here, and there's going to just be a lower baseline with that. So because the adrenals have pretty much taken over, the ovaries have completely shut down. And some women may be on HRT, BHRT. Okay, I'm just talking about someone that's not, and it's just kind of stabilized.
Right.
Your body's adapting again to the new. Okay, like this is the new you. This is the new set point. Okay. Again, muscle and bone, huge priority. Okay. We're looking at, strength training, making sure we're keeping that on board. We've talked a lot about that today. Adequate protein. I sound like a broken record.
No, but you said earlier, and it's important, you might be like, okay, I heard that. Yes, but are you incorporating
Doing it? Yes.
I don't
yes.
know. Nobody that works in the wellness field ever says anything to you one time and thinks that you get it.
You hear it a lot.
You might hear it out of our mouth every single time you see us. And then finally, it's, have you been saying that all along? Yes. Today's the day you finally heard it.
Yeah.
Then take that and start working with it.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about minerals. I think minerals are really important as well. Couple of options with me, working with me, I do HTMA. I can do it through powder or liquid form, but you can also do Ultimate. We've talked about Ultima here on the show before. Those are the little packets that you can just put in your water. They got magnesium, potassium, and sodium in them. Just be careful if you're someone with high blood pressure or something like that. Before doing something like that, just definitely ask your doctor if it's okay.
Well, and when you go to your doctor, please list. They talk about medications, but they also stress what vitamins, what supplements.
Yeah.
You need to give all that to them.
Yes.
I just started incorporating more that I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
So next time I go to the doctor, it's, I'm taking this. And we did a show probably a couple of years ago about, are you overdoing it?
Oh, yeah.
Are you taking too much, or are you doing some that it's like, well, you already have it here. You don't need to do it again.
Right.
You're actually wasting your money
Exactly.
because it's going out in waste.
Yes.
I hope you all
and
understand
then
that.
you're going over tolerable limits
Yes.
too. And we really need to be careful of that because, a good thing can also be a detrimental thing.
Let me ask this before we move on to stress runs through all seasons. How often should we be testing? Labs, HTMA, do you do it once?
HTMA, if somebody's working with me, we test every about 100 days.
Oh, okay.
Until we find we kind of normalize the minerals.
So again, it's not just a one and you're done.
Right. No, it's a retest unless you just choose to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Stress running through all seasons. So cortisol doesn't retire after menopause. You need to know that.
It does not retire after menopause. And again, we have to be really focusing on, it's impacting weight. It's impacting our sleep. You're going to see it in these things. It's impacting our bones. It's impacting our mood. And we just really need to get to that calm. And we've said it a lot today as a foundational. And ladies, I know it can't happen overnight, but let's start somewhere. Okay, find the thing that works for you, or work with someone like me who can give you multiple tools to choose from that you may not even know exist to help you find that calm.
I love this. Nervous system health equals hormonal harmony. Oh, that just sounds calming.
Yeah. I mean, if we're running around in fight or flight all the time, we're not getting hormonal harmony.
What is Jenny and I right now are smiling. Ask that question to yourself. How many of you haven't smiled in a long time? How many of you are on a frown, or what it's resting? Yeah.
Yeah. RBF.
RBA. RBF. RBF. Do you have RBF? Okay. Well, maybe have somebody tell you that you do and start to change that. That means you're in a miserable state.
Right.
What's causing it? Right. Root cause is what we're getting into.
Well, I like this too. And if you haven't practiced this, go be walking down the sidewalk or wherever, mall, wherever you're at, smile at someone. It's contagious. The other person can't help but smile back.
Well, that's the whole thing about kindness, right?
Right?
Kindness breeds kindness. Smiling breeds smiling. Frowns make you go, what's wrong with that person? Then you start going, okay, I'm miserable. That black cloud that someone has over them, suddenly it's entering into your space. Yes, and some people are like, well, is that fake? No, you actually, as you smile more, you can start bringing that in. So it's not fake. You're not smiling and you're like, I'm not happy. Okay, if you're not, then talk. That's the other thing is it's important to find your voice.
Right,
But
is.
smile. It will start to take you out of that
Well, I love
space.
when someone says, how are you doing today? The common answer is, I'm doing good or I'm okay. I said, I'm just awesome. And it's amazing the response they have back to you. Try it. Seriously.
There's a
try
guy
it.
that we work here at Adventure Unknown, and he is always like, "Good morning, Monica." I'm like, "Good morning. How are you?" "I'm great." Right? He's always, "It's a great morning."
Yeah.
Richard, who watches us regularly, says it's a great morning to be alive. Right? Great,
Yeah.
great, great. Instead of good, we start to change words to even
Right.
better. We level
Right.
up.
Right.
Okay. The interactive moment. Oh, I like this. Finish the sentence. Okay. This is interactive for all of you. Post-menopause has taught me. What has it taught you? For me, post-menopause has taught me, I said it earlier, the importance of putting me first and being structured, right? So if I know this is what, and again, I'm armed with it because I've had my labs done. I got on
Right.
bioidentical hormones.
Yeah.
Post-menopause taught me that I didn't have to stay, I probably put it this way. Post-menopause taught me I didn't have to stay in that miserable state.
Yeah.
What
And
about for you? How
for
would you
me-
answer the question?
For me, postmenopause taught me how to slow down.
I don't
It
think
taught
I've learned
me how
that yet.
to slow down and be more calm, but it also taught me to focus on longevity.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
You know, where I'm at now in my 50s, what do I want to be in my 60s?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking the next decade ahead.
Absolutely. We like the idea of living in the moment and being present, but it's also what's ahead for me.
Yeah.
So what about all you? Finish that sentence for us. Post-menopause has taught me. Fill in the blank for you, for all of you that are live right now, or if you watch us later. What has post-menopause taught you? Or maybe you're not in it yet. Julie said, I was told I smile too much. No such
no
thing.
way.
No
way.
such thing.
No way, Julie.
Okay,
Smile.
so fill in. Post-menopause taught you what? Okay, the reframe. This is not
Yeah.
decline, it's discernment.
Yeah, it's just discernment. You know, we're talking about having less tolerance for the chaos, right? We notice that there's probably less buffer.
That's a good
you know,
thing.
filter.
I wish
you
we would
know.
get that earlier.
Clearer boundaries. I think that's really important for women because sometimes we don't put the boundaries there. And you know, my goal in 2026, and you know this is too, but I won't say the rest of it, but is boundaries.
Yes.
Putting those boundaries around myself and
Learning
then
to say no.
learning to say no, right? And doing things that are going to fill my cup, not take from me all the time, you know, and filling someone else's cup. You know, I want to be able to fill their cup. I want it to be reciprocal. Right? Being and paying attention to more of your being honest with the body signals that you're getting from your body, being honest with yourself. What is that? Are you just putting it off, or now are we like now taking notice and doing the things we need to be doing when we notice those things happening?
And then feedback finally making sense. Again,
Yeah.
so if someone's getting their testing done, your lab work done, and then finally you're getting all the information, once you have it, and that was the wake-up call,
Yeah.
again, going back to that, finishing the
You
sentence.
got it.
Once I got it, it is, here you go.
Yeah, you're not negotiating.
Do something with it,
now.
Monica.
Now
Right.
you're partnering with it.
Absolutely.
That's the shift that happened when you did that.
Don't be given all the information and then just throw it away.
Right.
You're looking for it.
Yeah, you're done negotiating. Now it's time to partner with it and move forward with what you're going to do about it.
And be okay with it because
And
it's
be
a part
okay
of
with it.
life.
100% be okay with it.
But
Yeah.
start making the changes.
Yeah.
And start surrounding yourself with people that can help. I know this is a big
Yes.
time. Here we are,
Yes.
January 5th. People are hiring personal trainers. They're
Mm-hmm.
joining a gym. They're getting into a wellness community. They're talking with nutritionists and dietitians and saying, okay, it's finally time for me. Good. That's what we
Yeah.
want for you. So, okay, Jenny, what's the takeaway from today?
Well, today is like, you know, guys, basically movement over restriction. Quit restricting yourself, even dietarily, quit restricting yourself. You know, strength over exhaustion. I want you to be thinking about building strength, not only just muscle strength, but, you know, spiritual strength, social strength. It's a whole body encompassing. Choosing calm.
Calm over chaos.
Right?
I like this. So on this slide, it says support over white-knuckling.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge,
Quit
right?
gripping the steering wheel.
Exactly. So again, nourishment over restriction, strength over exhaustion, calm over chaos, support over white knuckling. That's the post-menopause thriving and takeaway for you on this.
Yes.
So white knuckling is your whole life. That means stress.
Yeah, you're stressed. That means your cortisol is high. It means you're in sympathetic state. You're on fight or flight all the time.
And then this final one, gentle CTA. You don't have to figure this out alone.
No, you don't. Partner with someone that you feel comfortable partnering with to help you navigate these waters, because women, you do not have to do that alone. You do not have to do it alone.
None of you are alone in this.
No.
We have said this every time Jenny's been on. All of these things that you feel like, oh, that's me. Oh, Monica and Jenny are talking about me.
Yeah.
And your friends and your sisters, et cetera,
Yeah.
and your mom and your aunts. But start talking about it.
Yes.
Literally have
Find
a
your
conversation. So education, personalization, we can't say that enough. Support that fits the season. She just said, are you in the early part of the late part?
What season are you in?
Yes.
Because there are different things we do in those seasons. There's definitely specific things that we do differently.
And again, ladies, know what season that you're in. Let her help you with that. Okay, so Julie said post-menopause taught her slow down, deep breathing.
Nice.
Right?
Good job, Julie.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Jenny and Monica. Good information. I learned a lot. Well, that's what we're here for.
That's right.
One more time. For those of you that are brand new to the show, Jenny Gabriel, JG Optimal Wellness. Follow her on social media. Get into those pages. Get a free assessment. Get on a call with her and say, all right, I've heard you, and now it's time to do something with it, right? You're armed with the information that you need, and then let her take you from there. And in 2026, let her give you a whole new lease on life.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where you need to go. Please don't stay sedentary in a miserable life. You deserve so much better.
That's right. You do. And you don't have to be there.
No.
Just reach out. Here to help.
So you'll be back in 2 Mondays.
Yeah.
What do we have on tap?
Andropause.
Oh, men.
This is for the men and the women. They can learn a little bit about how they can support the man.
The men all pause. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Forever ago. Is that from the 80s?
Yeah, probably.
It might be. I think I was in high school or college. So andropause, have you ever heard of it? I had not until Jenny on this particular show. But men, you go through it as well. So it's going to be all about you coming up in 2 Mondays.
Right.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think before we take our break? And we're going to talk about a couple mobile Monicas coming up that we want you to be a part of.
Awesome.
What are we feeling today what is the first book of 2026 that we need for our 100 Days to Freedom books? Overeating, fear and anxiety. There's only a few days left in that one. Anger, shame, depression.
Depression.
Oh, it's just you because
I feel that
because somebody said it.
Yeah, they did, but I also feel like people start to after the holidays. I see that happen so often.
Seasonal
And then
affective disorder, depression,
Yeah.
cold weather,
Yeah.
dark.
And it is a part of the menopausal journey for some women.
Yep, I love it. And it came up in somebody's comment and question earlier.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Let's do
okay,
it.
we're going to take a break. When we come back, 100 Days to Freedom from Depression from our friend Stephen Arterburn, and where we want you to be. Jenny's actually a part of this next week, and a friend of hers. And I'm hoping Mama D, if you're watching, Mama, you got to get back with me because I got to make sure that we got everything all lined up for our big show at the Vault. We'll talk about that and shopping in February in O'Fallon. We'll explain when we return. Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the real Monica Adams Show at my favorite restaurant. There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened it?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map. Does it scare you? You go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
Welcome back again. If you're just tuning in, we're in the wrap up of our show today. Very informative, very educational. Now take those tools and do something with it. Again, don't be on your own. You're not alone in all of this. And really do reach out to Jenny. Let her help you. There's been a lot of women that have seen what it's like to take that extra step and not try to go at it alone. Okay. So join that group of women and take your life back. Okay, so we're talking about depression. 100 Days to Freedom from Depression, Stephen Arterburn, these daily devotionals. So this is day 34, okay? Call to me and I will answer you, and I will tell you great and mighty things which you do not know. Jeremiah 33, verse 3. There's those threes God keeps showing me. What is this about? Sometimes our battle against depression, whether new or chronic, might leave you worn out, right? The exhaustion phase, we want to continue in the fight, but no matter what we do, we cannot catch our breath or get relief. In Exodus 17, by the way, the same thing happened to Moses and the Israelites. Moses had just led them out of Egypt across the Red Sea. God fought for them. He was the only reason the Egyptians were destroyed. But as they approached, God told the Israelites to take up their swords and fight. This did not mean that God stopped fighting for them. In his sovereignty, God might have wanted to teach the Israelites that he would fight through them. So what was the strategy? When Moses prayed with his hands lifted high, holding the staff he used to part the Red Sea, the Israelites were winning. But Moses became tired, his arms became heavy, and when he lowered his arms to rest, the military advantage changed in favor. When that happened, 2 of Moses' family members held up his hands for support in prayer. Have you ever felt like Moses at the battle? There are times when God calls us to fight and uses other people to support us in the fight. When we are overtaken by the symptoms of depression, we need to rely on God's wisdom that prompts us to call upon our closest friends and family to join us in prayer and to join us in treatment as we march on to conquer our ailments. Those folks will speak for us when we cannot speak for ourselves. They might be your voice at that point, at that particular point. They will help us see when we cannot see clearly. They will hold us up when we are ready to collapse. In fact, Joyce Meyer said, God has a plan for our deliverance before our problems ever even appear. He's not surprised when the trouble comes. We're surprised, but he knows already. He's not in heaven with his hands trying to figure out what to do. He's in control. Our part is to focus on him and his mighty power, worshiping him and praising him for the manifestation of his solution and listening for a word of direction from him. So here's your prayer, folks. Lord, I know all my help comes from you. During this battle, I feel very weary, very worn, but help me to remember that you'll be my strength spiritually, emotionally, physically, and remind me that the battle belongs to you. Amen to that. Again, don't go at it alone. You hear that a lot in all aspects of life. All right, so next week on Wednesday, we will not have a 7 a.m. show. We will have an 8 a.m. show. And I asked Jenny if she wanted to be a part of this, and she was like, okay, this is fun. It really is. It's one of our favorite shows, the Vault Makeover Show. It will be at 8 a.m. on January 14th. So Jenny's doing it along with a friend of yours, Tammy.
Yeah.
Now, Mama D had reached out, and she said that she wanted to be a part of it. So I sent her an email yesterday. If you, by the way, are interested in being a part of a really fun show, all you have to do is say, yes, I'm in, Monica. I want to do this. I want to be a part of it. What you will do is give me a before picture and then go in with the stylist at the Vault, which they're located, by the way, at 2325 South Brentwood Boulevard, and have them style you in a way that maybe is very different than what you're used to. So you got to be open to it. Just like when people go and get their hair cut, it's like, do you want to have a different look? Well, then let them go all in. So right now it was 25. Now it's 30% off of some of their select items. If you've not been to the Vault, it's luxury, not with the luxury price tag. Have you been, by the way?
I have not. I'm super excited. She's
It's amazing.
always getting me into stuff, you guys.
It is absolutely amazing. Okay, so that is next week, Wednesday, 8 a.m. And then I want you to come to O'Fallon, Missouri in February to Apricot Lane Boutique. Have you been there?
I have not. But you told me all about that one, too.
It's gorgeous. So that'll be at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, February 10th. It's Monica Lynn who owns Apricot Lane Boutique. And again, this is in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of 40 and Wing Haven. So we would absolutely love to see you there. If you have not been, then I would love for you to stop in and see her even before our show. But definitely, if you can, go on that particular day. So that was just a walkthrough. Again, that was taken around Christmas. So a lot of that stuff's probably already been taken up. So get in there. If you can't come on the 10th, then do me a favor and please support her before or after the show. I always ask you to support those that support us. Some other Mobile Monicas to come. We got a lot of things that are happening this week, by the way. I'm excited about. If you are interested, your business or someone that you know, by the way, I do reward those that turn us on to a new Mobile Monica. You want $100? cold hard cash. That's what I give to you when you turn us on to a new sponsor or, again, maybe a mobile Monica. Shoot me an email, info@therealmonicaadams.com. Once again, congratulations to all the ladies that are part of the book. It's About Time, officially on Amazon. $2.99. That's pretty darn cheap to get inspired. $2.99 for the ebook. But if you want to get a paperback or a hardbound, you can get those as well. I think I saw somebody earlier said, save me one. You got it. Just shoot me a message and let me know. Christy, amen. Have a blessed day to you as well. Jenny, thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Andropause, the next time she's with us in 2 Mondays. Tomorrow, by the way, a really cool program called Sweat for Impact. So Corey Lewis, who owns Extra Mile Fitness, will be on with us.
Fun.
And it's how you or your gym can be a part of this and how we can give back to those in other countries that are definitely in need. So Corey's on with us, and then I'm excited. My cousin on my husband's side, Kim Pruitt, you do not want to miss Wednesday's show. Trust me on this. 37 years in the education field. Kim Pruitt will be on with us on Wednesday from Alabama. And what I want to bring her on for is this youth leadership program that she started.
Wow.
And then the philanthropic arm, which is called RISE. But that can be applied to any school. What they're doing in Birmingham, Alabama, this model is amazing.
Wow.
And I'm hoping that here in our area, we can have somebody in the education system that will say, oh, I need to implement that here. That's why she's coming on Wednesday, okay? Sally, before we wrapped up, just said, good morning, Jenny and Monica. Thank you for you. We love you,
morning.
friend.
We love you,
Sally,
friend.
we're hoping you can be a part of the makeover show. Please, please,
Yeah.
please be a part of
For
it.
sure.
Yes, we need that happiness in our lives. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Big shows on tap for you this week. Looking forward to it. God bless you all. And remember, just like smiling goes a long way, so does kindness. Be kind. See you tomorrow morning.